Doc, coming to today's game, who are some of your favorite players to watch?
Okay, so load management has messed me up because Kawhi was my guy.
Uh-huh.
San Antonio, Toronto. I'm in Kawhi's corner.
Yeah.
Then this load management stuff happened. I mean, he playing like every fourth game. I'm like, what the hell happened to my guy? What happened to 82 games, man? And and he was a little different anyway because I spent some time with him at that NBA 75th and whatever.
Hmm.
He's just kind of quiet and
Hmm.
whatever. And so Mikal Bridges is my guy now.
Okay.
Yeah, Bridges. I'm gonna go with Bridges to have a comeback year. You know that because he was, I mean, with the Nets
Yeah.
or with Arizona. Yeah, so he kind of established himself, never missed games, and I
Hmm.
like that style of guy will play every night. Your toes hurting, you ain't, don't mean you need to miss the game because your toes hurt. So I liked him, and then came to New York, and probably second half of the season he fell off. Um, but Brunson was spectacular. Um, he was with the Knicks, but yeah, McHale was with the Nets, and he kind of fell off the second half. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I'm expecting him to uh, come back next year and just have a great year. I think Philly's going to have a great year. I mean, I think Joel's going to be Joel. I'd like to see a little more balance in in their attack because Maxi's awesome, man. Maxi
Hmm.
Maxi Maxi should have the ball. He should have the ball. He should run the show. And anytime there's a need for scoring, he can do that. But he's got to get Joel and Paul George uh, in the right positions and give them the ball at the right time. Let them do what they do because they're basically. I mean, they could either do spot up or they can do isolations because both of them are capable of taking their guys on the dribble or whatever. And Maxi can do the same thing. I mean, when he's running downhill, there's very few people who could stay with him. So that's going to be their big three. And I don't mind seeing Joel's numbers come down to keep Paul in the game on the offensive side. When they had Tobias, lots of times he just got lost in the shuffle. I mean, there'd be like 12 possessions, he wouldn't even touch the ball. So and then it's his fault. And I don't think they're gonna do that with Paul George. And I wish Tobias well in Detroit. I think he'll be fine. But I mean, the stars are the stars: Jokic and Durant and uh, let's see, Curry. Um,
And
oh,
let
there's
me
a guy
ask.
named LeBron. There's a guy named LeBron out there. There's a guy named LeBron out there. He don't look like he going anywhere.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. He is, man. I just think in terms of the ways in which guys can preserve themselves these days, because I've seen, a lot of the machines and gadgetry and stuff like that, and also the will. I mean, obviously, you got to have the will to want to play, and you're very usually incentivized by the money. Not like you're making 2 million a year and you could leave the game and go make 2 million a year somewhere. Then you making 40, 50, or whatever. You ain't gonna go nowhere and make that. So you're incentivized to stay as long as possible. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously a physical risk because once you get out, the wear and tear on your body is what it is. I mean, it takes a toll. I played till I was 37, and I felt very fortunate that once I got out, I could enjoy playing basketball probably 5, 6 years. And I played basketball until I was probably in my early 40s. But if I had been playing an NBA schedule, I couldn't see doing that. I couldn't see doing it. So
Do you have an answer if somebody was to ask you who is the greatest basketball player you've ever seen?
the greatest that I've ever seen. Well, some of them guys who lit me up in high school, they were pretty good. It was I can't think of this guy's name, man. You know how after your senior year and you play in a tournament and you get invited to play in these tournaments. So I got to play in this tournament over in Connecticut, and this guy he went to Marshall and then he went to the Boston Celtics. You might know him better than me. But he ran through us, man, like he was a buzzsaw. I said, "Who is this? Who is this guy right here?" And Billy Chamberlain, I mean, you know who Billy Chamberlain is?
Yes.
Yeah, he went to Long Island Lutheran or whatever. Then he went to North Carolina. He ran through us too. That was when I was 6'3", 160. But yeah, so I mean, I've had moments with guys and on the court with them, and just had that ultimate respect where I'm like, this guy's really good, man. I can't touch him or whatever. But as a pro, you kind of conditioned to not put anybody that far ahead of you. And Kareem was always the guy standing in my way. I was always in his shadow because of the years in which we played, and we overlapped. And we didn't. I mean, in my ABA years, he was in the NBA, but then in my NBA years, he was there every one of my NBA years. So any individual recognitions that I got, I always felt that's when I got him. I got some recognition that he didn't get because I was the MVP and he wasn't. And so personally, that was the guy who I look at as probably the GOAT.
Now, I don't know if you heard recently, we got a couple more questions. We certainly appreciate you being generous with your time. But I don't know if Anthony Edwards for the Minnesota Timberwolves talked about
Yeah,
the talent gap
I heard
between
him.
the guys in the 90s and the guys back in the day. Your
Yeah.
thoughts on not just 90s, but 80s, 70s. There was some great players historically that we can't disrespect.
Oh man, come on. Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor, who was my favorite. My personal favorite was Elgin Baylor, and Jerry West. And if you just take those five right there or whatever, you put Anthony Edwards on the court with them or whatever, he would change his opinion. He would change his opinion. Obviously, he's a guy he didn't see the '60s and the '70s. He just heard about it. He didn't see the '80s. I mean, and he's feeling himself, and he's awfully good. I mean, I like watching him play.
Absolutely.
I like watching him play. But is he from? He's from Georgia, right?
Yes.
He's from Georgia because I know he went to Georgia
Yes.
a year or two, and he's from Georgia. So there's something about when you're from the urban when you're an urban basketball player like a New Yorker or you or DC or whatever, you tend to have more respect because you see more.
Mm-hmm.
You see more guys who are as good as you or better than you. I mean, I saw a lot of guys better than me when I was coming up, but it just made me drive to be better. And maybe he hasn't had that experience where he played in middle school, high school, or or even college, where there were guys better than him. So it's going to be a rude awakening.